What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the crew 2, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus, which you did guess it. This is going to be another Bugatti added into the game here, which honestly I was kind of skeptical on at first until I started driving this vehicle just a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to lie about one thing. I have been screwing up the name of this vehicle for an insanely long time. I was calling this vehicle the Chiron or the Chiron. It's actually the Chiron, which, my goodness, I cannot speak English at all. But this vehicle is probably going to be one of my favorite new hypercars in the entire game. Now, I know a lot of players might be kind of tired of seeing a Bugatti in the game, which honestly, I can't really blame you on that. We literally have 12 of them in the game currently. I do think I'm actually missing one of them, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of them in the game, and I know a lot of people probably do run these all the time. For me, though, I'm going to have to admit one thing. I think the Chiron Super Sport is probably going to be my new favorite hypercar in this entire game. I'm really loving the overall look of this car for one, plus the sound, the speed, and the overall stability of this thing is honestly just incredible compared to the other cars I have driven. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be better than the other Bugattis, but I do think in ways this car is going to have some advantages over those. For example, I did notice a lot of the older Bugattis were basically all over the leaderboards for a really long time, like the Bugatti Divo Magma Edition. I know everybody loves this thing. Then we have the Emerald Storm, which is basically a green version of that car. Then we have the Gendo Dici, which this was one of my favorite Bugattis for a while as well, which I probably ruined that name as well. And then we will also have the Divo, which I would say is probably the most used Bugatti because everyone can actually get their hands on this car pretty early on. And that's going to be the same with the Gendo Dici, but it kind of depends which one you like. Personally, I haven't really used the Veyrons all that much. I do think the Vitesse is pretty nice, but I just haven't used it. The EB11s, honestly, the EB11. The same can also go for the Divo as well, because these Bugattis are probably going to be the most used, which I would say is probably for good reason, because they really are that amazing, and basically everybody can buy those. But with the 300 coming out now, that might end up changing a little bit. Now, I'm not going to lie, I really do not run the Veyron all that much, and the EB110 is honestly just one of my favorite looking cars in general in real life, because I love how this vehicle looks. Now, there was another thing I did want to show you guys with the Super Sport here that I did notice instantly when looking at it. So you guys will see the top speed on this vehicle is going to be 305. When testing it out in one of the races, this thing maxed out at like 286 in 6th gear. Mind you, there's a 7th one, which is honestly just incredible. I really do love how they put this car in this game. But the interesting part is the fact that the top speed of this vehicle is 305. If we go over to the other Bugatti, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one because I will absolutely butcher that, is going to say 279, which the other ones will obviously say the same. Obviously, that vehicle isn't leveled. But all the regular hypercars in the game are going to be 279 for the top speed. But when we take a look at the Super Sport, it'll say 305. So this is pretty interesting. I have a feeling a lot of players are going to buy this car, and that is for good reasoning because, my goodness, it's probably going to be one of the best new cars in the game. But wait, guys, there is more, which I really do sound like one of those infomercials. But you can also customize a Super Sport, which I found to be really awesome because we all know the Nismo that also released with this bundle was kind of upsetting because you literally cannot touch anything on that car, which I do get, probably licensing stuff with Nissan. But the fact that we can actually customize a Bugatti, which is kind of insane. And not only that, but this one, which is like literally set the land speed record for a little while there, and I think it still does. But this thing's literally full carbon fiber, and you can still change stuff on the vehicle. So obviously, guys, right here, you can change the stripes of the car that go up there, which for me, I'm going to leave orange because I'm thinking about making this car fully orange, or at least part of it or something like that. But let's move over to the visual parts right now. So starting off with the hoods here, we're going to go to the second one. So you can make the whole thing orange there, and or depending on the color you guys want to choose on the vehicle. You can also make the whole thing carbon, which looks really nice. You have the vented hood. We're going to have the other vented one, and then finally the other carbon hood there. So the regular stock one on the vehicle, I'm kind of digging these stripes on there. I do like how it goes up the car. So let's move over to the front bumpers now. So that is going to change the Bugatti logo, it looks like, which I kind of do like that one. Kind of like the original logo, how it did look on the other vehicles. Oh, that's awesome. So I would say this car is probably going to be a winner for most players. I mean, I haven't seen anything I do not like about it. The carbon fiber look on this car just looks so dang good. I'm loving it. Plus the performance on this thing from the races I have done. I'm honestly mind blown by this Bugatti so far. Let's take a look at these other front bumpers here and then move on. So this is a crazy looking splitter. I personally will probably not add this to the vehicle. I mean, it doesn't really look all that bad, but I just don't really think it fits it that well. I'll change the logo again on the front, then probably add the 16. Then moving over to the next one, which will be 10, which basically paints it orange, and you see the carbon fiber going around it. But now moving over to the next front bumper is basically going to add the old Bugatti logo. Then we're also going to get the 16 on the front of the vehicle again. But let's move over to the front fenders now. So I did notice this, by the way, guys. I'm most likely going to add this to the vehicle. Now I would also say by doing this, which I will show, you could probably change the color to something like blue if you really wanted to. So that is pretty awesome as well if you guys wanted to change the color. I really do love how they give you the options with a car like this to actually do something like that. Blue looks really good, but I just really dig the orange on there because for some weird reason I love orange. But let's move over to the front fenders here and take a look at the next one, which is actually a wide body, which surprisingly, I can't believe this car actually has this on it, but this really doesn't look all that bad for the most part. The fitment of it does actually fit pretty nicely compared to some of the other vehicles, and my goodness, like the cars on Grand Theft Auto, what in the world happened there? And even for some of the body kits on the Crew 2, I think we can all agree that some of them just do not look that good at all. Now let's move over to the rims here. So when you guys do buy the vehicle in the bundle, because for some weird reason you can't buy the car separately at the moment, so these rims are going to end up coming on the car regardless when you get it, but luckily there is other options. So here's the second one. Then we're going to have the other ones there. And then the fourth option. Then we're also going to have that one, which is basically the same one that's on the car right now, but it's going to have the black logo instead of the orange. Then after that, you can also add the rims in the game, which imagine having a Bugatti with rims that actually look like that on a Bugatti. I feel like this would be really funny to see, or even having something like that on there, like what in the world? But I'm probably going to end up leaving the regular rims on this vehicle because I do like the colored logo of the Bugatti emblem there, which looks awesome. Let's move over to the caliper colors, which for me, I'm probably just going to leave black, honestly. I thought about doing it orange, but unfortunately, I don't think I can get the orange to match the actual orange of the car, which is kind of unfortunate. Moving over to the mirrors, though, so for me, they're going to be carbon fiber at the moment. And then moving over to the second option will basically be the painted version of that. So whatever color you guys have on your vehicle will basically be the mirror. Then we're going to have the carbon and the colored one, which I do think looks pretty dang nice on the car. How it goes like carbon there and then it goes orange or like whatever color the vehicle is does look pretty cool. I think I'm actually going to throw that on the car. Let's move over to the skirts now. So I kind of do like the stock ones on there. I really do love the carbon fiber going into the vehicle. Then we're going to have orange, which I don't really know if I really like how that looks. Obviously, this will be painted to whatever color you guys might have on your vehicle. Then we're going to have, wow, that's, how's that actually look on the car? It doesn't look too bad. Doesn't stick out insanely far. Then we're going to have that one. See, I don't really like how those look, so for me, I'm going to end up leaving those off. Then moving over to the rear fender now, so this would be pretty awesome. So you guys can get rid of the carbon if you would like to. So we can make the entire car orange, which you know how I am. I'm most likely going to do that. So I'll add that to the vehicle. And there's the next one, which will make the back also wide body, which is crazy. The fact that we have this car in a wide body, I would laugh really hard if we do see this car in a future Summit. That would be pretty funny. Then we're going to also see the other one in orange as well, and or the color you guys have on the vehicle. Moving over to the rear wings here. So that's going to get rid of the carbon, which I really do like that stripe going down the car there, so I'm not going to use that one. That makes the entire top of the car carbon. That looks pretty awesome. Then we're going to have the big wing on the back, which looks insane. And then we're going to have the other one, which paints the whole car. Then we're going to have that one, which is also carbon. So for me, I'm going to honestly leave this one stock. I don't really think I need to change what that looks like. If you guys are wondering, by the way, the wing on the vehicle will pop up as well. So I do like how that one does look on there. Let's move over to the rear bumpers now. So it looks like the second option basically just makes the Bugatti emblem chrome. Move over to the next one. Then it makes it orange. My goodness, I have to go with that one. Then we're going to have the other one after that, which makes it looks like the exhaust more like an aluminum type of look to them. Then we're going to have the chrome, then the orange one there with the blacked out lights. Then moving over to the next one, we'll add those crazy looking, I think that's like a bigger diffuser on the back there, it looks like. Then we have the chrome Bugatti, then the color of the car there. And whoa, look at that. So you can paint the entire back bumper of the vehicle. I personally don't really like how that looks. I do like the detail of the carbon fiber on there, but it really doesn't look all that bad for the most part. And that looks like that'll do it. You cannot customize the interior of this vehicle. So that is pretty much it, guys. If you wanted to know, you can also add all the vanity items. So it looks like this Bugatti is going to have a lot more customization than the Nismo, which is honestly hilarious. But besides that, guys, we have to go do an outside look of the Bugatti here and take a closer look at this thing because, my goodness, I love the overall detail of this vehicle. The front of it looks insane. Then I do want to take it on a top speed run to really see what it can get to, which I have a feeling is going to be crazy. Then we definitely have to jump into the Hollywood hypercar race to really test out its overall performance. And now moving over to the outside look of the new Bugatti Chiron Super Sport. Now one thing I do want to mention, by the way, is I did actually go back and make my window tinted just a little bit on the vehicle. But my goodness, I love the detail of this Bugatti. Like, I love the orange on there. For some reason, I don't know why I always make my vehicles like a bright color, but I just really like how they look there. And you can also see like the Bugatti emblem on the front there with the carbon fiber wrapping around. This car is honestly just beautiful. I do love the rims as well. I cannot believe it's in this game. Why don't we take a listen to that engine? And now moving over to the interior view of the new Bugatti here. So I do think the interior of this car does look pretty dang nice, and it's also pretty detailed. We'll see the RPM reader on the left there. Then you can also see how fast you're going with the knob there. It's kind of hard to see because, well, the dial's a little dark. But besides that, the car does have some really nice detail to it overall with the buttons and all that, plus the carbon fiber. I would say Ubisoft has been doing a really good job with the detail of these interiors in this update. I mean, every car just looks really dang good inside, which is awesome because if you guys do like running in first-person view, at least the car does have a nice attention to detail, so you can really appreciate that stuff when racing these cars. Now guys, let's go see what the real top speed of the Super Sport actually is, because when I was doing the Hollywood Hypercar race earlier and testing it out, which I do plan on jumping into that one here in a second, I almost hit like 300 miles an hour in that one race with this vehicle, which is crazy. This car is probably going to be one of the new best hypercars in the entire game. Not only can it handle, but it's also going to be crazy fast. So I do think a lot of players are going to end up buying this vehicle, as I almost crashed right there. So going down there, so you guys will see right now 289 miles an hour, and I still have another gear to go, which is crazy. Let's see what this car can really get to right now, though. So I'm going to go over this hill here, and then on that little straightaway, I'll hit the nitrous. So 294 with no issues. I kind of want to get over this hill as well so I don't crash. That'd be unfortunate. So let's see what this car can get to right now with Nitro Chemist. Let's push it. Go. Wow, look at that. 334 miles an hour. We have a new form of a drag vehicle in the game, guys. 334 miles an hour is just honestly incredible. This is literally the fastest hypercar in the game. And the fact that this car can also turn really well is going to make this car just that much better. But nonetheless, let's go jump into that race right now. Now jumping into the Hollywood Hypercar race here with the new Bugatti. So I gotta admit one thing, I am insanely impressed with how this car is, honestly. I mean, this thing handles really good. It's crazy fast. 334 miles an hour is honestly going to be in the drag car category. I mean, that's kind of crazy. You could probably use this vehicle on a lot of the escapes now in the summits and all that and probably do really well because of the insanely high top speed. Do keep in mind though, guys, that's probably going to be because of the Nitro Chemist set on the vehicle. If you don't have that, you probably won't be able to actually do 330 miles an hour. But nonetheless, there's a few things I really do love about this car. For one, it handles really good compared to a lot of the other hypercars I have driven. And not only that, it has a lot of amazing speed to back it up. And my goodness, I love the look of this vehicle as well. The brakes perform really well in this car. And honestly, I really cannot complain about this Bugatti at all. One thing I did notice though is I do use manual a lot on this game. And I did notice this vehicle might take a little bit getting used to with how it is geared, which is really not an issue at all. It's kind of funny because every time I jumped off that ramp in some of my test races, I, for some weird reason, always crashed into one of the walls on either side. But nonetheless, guys, I did notice the gearing on this Bugatti is going to be a little bit different than some of the other hypercars and even the other Bugattis for that matter. The main reason for that is, well, this car is made to go over 300 miles an hour, which is going to make it the highest top speed hypercar in the game. So getting used to the gear on this might be a little bit different if you guys are running manual, but I really don't think it's really all that bad. Once you get used to it, you should be good to go. The brakes on this car are really good. It can stop easily. It accelerates with literally no issues at all. I am just honestly amazed with how good this car really is. Now, I do want to admit one thing. I'm interested to see what's going to happen to the hypercar category with this car in the game now. I wonder if you're pretty much just going to see this car everywhere on most of the bigger races, because for example on the New York Hyper Race, why use any other car if you have something like this that could do 300 miles an hour on that race? It might even make you more money doing that. So I do wonder how this car is going to affect this class, though. I'm kind of interested in that. But let me know what you guys think about the new Super Sport in the comments below. What's your favorite things about this vehicle? For one, I am loving everything about this car and I really do not have any complaints whatsoever. The handling on it seems to be really good compared to a lot of the other cars as well. It's not squirrely or anything like that, which is something we all look for. But let me know what you guys think about this car in the comments below, and do you think the new Super Sport is going to heavily mix up things in the hypercar category? And I honestly cannot help but wonder if this car is going to really mess a lot of the other cars up, because let's be honest, some of the other hypercars are honestly really bad, and having a car like this is going to make them look even worse. But again, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments below. Do you think maybe they might do something with the summits and all that to maybe like not let you use this car, or maybe something crazy like that? But let me know what you guys think. And also, here are the settings I'm currently running on this vehicle that I do find to be pretty dang good. And thank you all so much for watching.